The Orlando Magic have just signed McClung to an Exhibit 10 contract. This comes just a couple of days ago. We're going to get into what that is going to mean for his career. Could he make the Orlando Magic's roster as a two-way player? And what does his career trajectory end up looking like? And what does that end up meaning for the Orlando Magic if he ends up being an NBA caliber player sometime down the line? We're going to talk about all the different possibilities with his career coming up. But first, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Of course, I don't have the instant news when we finally get some news in the dead period. But, guys, still support the channel. And join the Magic Digest family. We're trying to build an Orlando Magic basketball community here on YouTube, and we want to get things rolling before the season starts. You already know the drill. All right, let's get into the report. This comes from Shams. Obviously, McClung has signed a partially guaranteed deal with the Orlando Magic. This will allow him to compete in camp and potentially get one of those two-way roster spots. The Orlando Magic have two available. They pretty much sent most of the others packing as far as the people who are involved in those roster spots from last season. And if you really do think about it, McClung is almost like the most prized possession as far as the roster is concerned, the very end of that roster, right? Because, the most of the people that we have or had in that range are gone, and they weren't really worth keeping. And I'm not counting guys like Jett Howard, who spent plenty of time in the J League last year. I'm talking about the kind of the island of misfit toys. The guys really trying to make NBA rosters rather than the lottery picks from the previous years. All right, so let's get into what exactly an Exhibit 10 contract is. Now, it's something that you kind of have to remind yourself every now and then. Exhibit 10 contract is a one-year deal, minimum salary agreement, isn't guaranteed, and it can also include an optional bonus of up to $75,000 that will be rewarded if a player, after he's waived, spends at least 60 days with a team's G League affiliate. So it's probably right around now when you're going to see those deals come to fruition, because obviously we're about a couple months away from the season. We're going to see just how much these guys can play in the G League and what exactly the teams want to invest in them. Now, this makes an Exhibit 10 contract a helpful tool to bring in players to compete during Summer League for a roster spot on an NBA team, or it's a G League affiliate. Each team can have up to 6 Exhibit 10 contracts at a time. Now, as far as I know, I don't know if I could see any other players that were signed through an Exhibit 10 for the Orlando Magic. Whether or not they're going to even exhaust that use still remains to be seen, but they're really trying to kind of complete that training camp roster. I think right now they're not really going to put very many players in front of McClung as far as guys who can make the opening day team, or make one of those 10 or those two-way contracts. But let's get into how good is McClung. Like, can he make an NBA roster? I think, truthfully, it is actually kind of a bit of a surprise that he is not on an NBA roster as potentially in just a simple starter, regardless of a two-way. Last year, he won the G League's MVP. He averaged 25.7 points per game, 5 boards, almost 7 assists in 27 games, and he had 30-plus points in 8 games, really showing that potential. I think this is one of the most surprising kind of things. If you're not paying attention, you're just thinking, hey, this guy's just a dunker. He's somebody that they pull straight out of the G League. Well, no, this guy's an actual NBA caliber player. He's not in the NBA, but he's got the talent. And obviously, we see at the bottom of this communications tweet that Miami Heat two-way guard Alondes Williams, and Utah Jazz assignee Kenneth Lofton Jr. Kenneth Lofton had pretty decent minutes last year, finished second and third in voting, and so that's decent company. Those are guys who are going to be in the NBA and they're going to have minutes. So is McClung an NBA player? Well, he's certainly better than the rest of the G League, and I think that is something that should be noted. He's put up a ton of stats during his career, and if we take a look, he's had so much time in the G League. In his 3 years, he's averaging 20.8 points per game. Now, we've had some great G League players, some G League superstars over the year. I took a look at the MVP history for the G League, and I'm not trying to say that is the greatest group of players, because it is certainly not. But I definitely think, regardless of the alumni from that group, you got to still be happy with the fact that, hey, this guy won the G League MVP. That's got to mean something, so he's pretty good. And when we take a look at the last 3 years and all the games that he's played, he's certainly, logged plenty of stats. Now, Where does he fit on the Orlando Magic's roster? Well, as a two-way guy, I think you're really looking to fill a specific need. Because if they're going to throw you out there, it's going to be because of injury or to fill in for a player who is struggling in some sort of aspect. You know, and you're not, and it's mainly really because of injury. You know, I really would hate for anybody to think that there's going to be a player who, like McClung, who's going to play like a ton of minutes for a team like the Orlando Magic, a playoff team. I'm not certainly saying that that's going to happen even without injury or anything like that. So it would mainly be because of injury, but you need that fit. And I think his best asset is the fact that he averaged almost 7 assists per game in the G League. When we're looking at a guy like Jalen Suggs, we want to see him be that facilitator. We want to even see that from Cole Anthony. He's coming off the bench. We want to see it from many of our guards. Can Anthony Black, take a step up? If none of those guys can and one of them gets injured, I could see a guy like McClung coming in. If you're going to invest the time into him, if you're going to give him that two-way, into jumping into that role, and they're going to give him a shot, okay? Not saying that he could absolutely fill that role, but that is where I see him. That is how I see him ending up making this team and not just being a G League player for the Orlando Magic like he was last year. That's about it, though. I would say for the most part that the Orlando Magic don't really go for guards like him. We've talked about this ad nauseum now. An undersized guard, not really defensive oriented, but can be feisty, can move. Certainly is very athletic. One of the most athletic guards for his size in the NBA. But for the most part, this would be one of those things where you're really looking for him to be a facilitator, make some shots, make some threes. He's got that in and out game. I would be very still surprised if he got a huge chance with the Orlando Magic, but wouldn't be surprised if he got a chance with any other NBA team for the most part. But it's the fit, and can he come in and stay healthy? I don't really think he's had very many injuries, certainly getting up there now. Not up there in age, I should say, but certainly played a lot of basketball as of recently and in his days. He'll be 26 in about the mid-season of next year. So played a lot of basketball, played plenty of college basketball, but really trying to look for that opportunity. I don't know if it's going to come from a team like the Orlando Magic. It could come from somewhere else. Somebody else might want to take a shot at him. But I think that this is a really intriguing signing. I would love to hear what all of you guys think in the comments. When we're talking about Orlando Magic basketball, I'm always just throwing out stuff to you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about the team. I'm reading everything. I see what you guys are saying. I love to hear it. I love to read it, take it on in. I always think about it for the future videos that I make, and I'm really just trying to tell you guys, look, I do hear what you guys are saying. Sometimes we don't agree on everything, but I'm really hearing what you guys are saying. So is McClung a guy that you're really interested in getting or giving a two-way contract to, or would you rather that go somewhere else? Let me know down in the comments below. But I will see you guys next time with some more Orlando Magic basketball content.